Ever since we built our giant power monolith, it's felt like something was missing. Sure, it generated enough power to run anything, but getting there meant crossing a river every single time. It never really felt part of our base. So today we're fixing that. Inspired by the legendary Bridge of Hylia, we're building a massive stone bridge to connect our main town to the monolith once and for all. Towering arches, weathered details, and eroding stone, and enough scale to make the monolith feel even more imposing. By the end of this build, the monolith won't feel like something across the river, it'll feel like a true extension of our base. Let's get building. It's been a while since we've been in this world, but we are back in Valhelsia, and it feels good to be as powerful as we are. Now, we had been working over on the other side of this island with mine colonies, and we did a few episodes of that, but I'm feeling like it's time to work on something a little bit bigger here. Let's see, we're gonna want our schematic stuff out again. So, what I've got planned today is that we're gonna build ourselves a bridge from here to our giant power spire. We're gonna build a bridge from this side to that side. And I started by, this is why we're getting the schematic out here, but I started by, let's just put it off to the side. Essentially, I went into creative and I was looking through I guess the reason that I kind of had this idea was because of mine colonies, but I had come across when we were building over there, these like gates and arches and stuff. I was like, wow, that seems really cool. So I thought I would grab one of those that I liked, and we would use that as kind of our entry and exit way on either side of our bridge here. So first, before we place this down, we're going to need to decide if we want the gate to start like up high, like if we're going to have it start like up here essentially, so it's a straight shot, and then have some like really steep stairs or something, which I don't think that's going to be the best move. I think what I'd rather do is start it a little bit lower and then mostly have it come straight across. And then right at the end, we can have like a stairway up to the top here. And that should connect us perfectly up to here. So that is the idea for right now. Let's go ahead and we're going to need some chests and some more chests all stacked up here. We'll see what all we need. And then let's grab our checklist. I think we have, yep. Okay, now I think if we just toss actually we need to place it first. Let's get some sleep so it's bright out. Or I forgot I had night vision. Yeah, that's better. No need to sleep. Okay, let's get this placed. So it's like sort of large, but it's also not like the biggest thing ever. Whoop. Okay, it looks a little funky, but let me try and remember how to do this here. Yeah, let's move this a bit closer here. And how tall do we want this to be? Might push it a little further out. You know what? Maybe I'll bring it in just one more, like that. So let's go ahead and plop this into our cannon and give us our checklist. Boom. Okay. And then we can see everything we're going to need, which really isn't too much. I'm going to skip all this redstone and like the solid placeholders. We don't need any of that. So give me just a moment here and I'm going to gather up all of the resources we need. And I'll jump back in once we're ready to fire this thing. And then I can kind of tell you more about my plan from there. Okay, let's check how we're doing here. We should have everything. Yes, it does. Okay, and then we just have this junk that we don't need. Perfect. Let's grab some gunpowder and get this going. But I think with this, once this is built, we'll have to do some like editing. Whoop. We'll have to do some like editing to it to kind of make it look older and more ruined. But this is just going to serve as our baseline. And we should be good. We have our schematic. Okay, go. So that should get built up nicely. I'm so fast with this jetpack and elytra. But yeah, that's going to come along nicely. And then we can kind of continue on from here once this is all built out. So I'm going to have like supports going down into the water that are like halfway crumbled or falling apart. It's going to be more of like, I want to say like artistic, because I'll kind of just have to guess. I've never really built like a crumbling building before. So I think this should be pretty fun. Fun little project to try and figure out. And then we'll officially be connected to the other side of the island. Once the blueprint was loaded, the schematic cannon got to work. Brick by brick, it slowly built the foundation for the bridge's massive entrance. For some reason though, every single shingle block ended up being a completely different color. So I had a little cleanup to do afterward. But after about a day of building, the bridge's grand entryway was finally complete, giving us a solid structure to build the rest of the bridge from. Okay. I don't know why it shot out these shingles as just like a bunch of random colors. We put the regular cobbled deep slate shingles in here and then they all just changed colors. So yeah, not sure about that, but there we go. We've got kind of a base to kind of kick off from. Now we will have to continue and, build this down so it's actually supported and not floating randomly. But I'm going to go through and fix all these shingles because that's just weird. There we go. And then, yeah, they all just come through as like, I don't understand, because they all started as something completely different. So good thing we made extra. So they should be right there. Perfect. And they were just not like that. They replaced something like this. So that's better than the mishmash of random colors we had. So if we are working our way down, I want it to go dark to light. So our darkest block is going to be black concrete. After that, we've got either gray, deep slate bricks, regular deep slate, and which one of these is going to be darkest? Whoop. I think it's kind of helpful to go up really high and then squint and see which one's darker. Okay, so if we're looking at this, oh, and we should have some wool too, gray wool. Let me go put some of that down there. I mean, the black is just so dark. Maybe we could use some of these kind of cracked tiles. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good. Yeah, I think it goes gray wool, cracked, deep slate. Nope, not that one. Then regular. Yeah, I'd say that's lighter for sure. I think, yeah, andesite's going to go there. Tough. Yeah, it would maybe go right here. Hey, so let's say tough, mossy, regular, stone, andesite. Okay, but yeah, that's a good point to kind of base things off of. So we'll leave this over here so we can reference back to it. And I suppose we can just pick a corner and start bringing it down. And we'll essentially follow the shape of this thing all the way down. We want stone and polished andesite. Okay, I think that kind of lends itself nicely. We'll need a lot more polished andesite though. Yeah, looking good. So we've gone down a couple layers and started mixing some stuff in. So if we're going by our chart here, our next thing to work in is going to be these stone bricks. So now we're going to kind of ease off of the andesite and start going more into these stone bricks. It's kind of fun figuring these things out or like piecing them together. And hopefully when it all comes together, it looks good. But that's always like the payoff part is like you come up with a plan and you think it's a good idea and then you just got to see how it turns out, Now, I don't know how much of me just placing blocks you can muster watching. So I'll try and do some cuts here and there so we're not just, standing around and, well, not really standing around, but just so things keep moving, if that makes sense. And so we are doing just that. Using the palette we picked out earlier, we started extending the gatehouse down until it met the ground, making it feel like it actually had been built into the landscape instead of floating above it. From there, we laid out the full span of the bridge, built up the massive center support, and connected everything together with a series of stone arches. On the far side of the river, a grand staircase led up to the other gatehouse. Piece by piece, what started as a rough outline slowly transformed into one of the biggest infrastructure projects we've tackled in this world. By the time the last major block was placed, the bridge itself was finally complete. All that remained were the finishing touches that would really bring the entire build to life. Okay, next up, now that all of that is put into place, just kind of the structure in general, I need to do the same sort of lighting situation I did over here to that side. We'll place lights along the bridge itself rather than these torches. And then we can go through, once all that's done, and start thinking about how to make things a little less flat. The gradient definitely helps, but we want to add some depth to it. So first up is going to be lanterns. Okay, let's see how these ones look. So these are the normal Minecraft ones. And if we place this like that, yeah, it's got a little candle inside. Kind of sporadically place them here and there along our walkway. Very nice. And maybe one right here too. How about that? If we turn our night vision off, we can kind of get a better idea of how much these light up. I think that's okay. Just to keep things cohesive, we'll do the normal lanterns on this side. And you know what? Let's just go a little crazy with these. I have one more. Well, okay. I place one more. That's pretty crazy. I was a little sad that we had to do an actual lever right there to keep it closed. So it would be cool if we could just close them rather than needing a redstone signal. But that's the way it goes. Boom, 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 boom. Nice. Oh, and then this one too. Perfect. Okay, lighting situation is done. With that out of the way, I think we can start thinking about throwing in some more of the finer details on the walls and such. And I think I know what we want to do. For some of it anyways. This may end up being a little overkill, but I hope not. Okay. So we got a good peppering of vines put in here. So that adds another little layer of depth for us. Next up, I don't know, we may as well just continue with what's been working here, at least along the back wall. Let's grab some of these bamboo. Bamboo's another thing that it's so great because it's really tall and it can help provide more of a visual barrier. And it grows so fast too. And we'll kind of just plant them in little pockets like this. And then we'll do the same thing over here. I think a nice little cluster over this way would be nice. And then maybe a couple sporadic ones like that. And you can see how much the vines are already growing. It's interesting how they change colors depending on what biome they're in. So over here we're green, but over in this biome they're a yellowish fall color, kind of like these leaves. Okay, so those will start growing. And actually maybe we'll put some on this side too. And maybe some down in this corner. They can kind of peek up. Yeah, I think something like that'll look nice once they get growing. So let's put those away. Okay. I crafted up some vertical slabs. And I was thinking, I haven't really used these before, but if we just kind of... Oh, not those ones. Let's try this again. If we kind of just place these around, it'll add a little bit of something. It's a little piece of interest. Just kind of do some random shapes here and there. These ones can kind of wrap around like that. And we don't need to go too crazy with these things either. But it kind of helps break up things, right? Let's step back a little bit. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's keep going. We'll just kind of dot this stuff around here and there. I feel like the front doesn't really need much because there's already enough going on. But the sides, we can get a couple here and there. And then especially this wall, we can do, you know, we can go a little bit more crazy with this. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Okay, and then on our pillars here, we can kind of just toss a few of these in as well. Maybe we could do like a belt around it or something. Yeah, I think that's nice. Oh, ow. Gotta watch out for the saw. Yeah, I think that's really cool. Gives us that little bit more depth or like definition. Before we call this done, we do need to do just a couple more things. I want to remove the line of stairs on either side of the staircase here. So they're not really doing it for me. Just seems a little awkward to have like a sheer drop off at the edge of the stairs. Okay, and then we're going to go through and just put walls along here instead. Boom. Yeah, that looks way better. And then along the staircase here, we can just place some lanterns on the edges of these things so it's nice and lit up. Ooh. So there we go. Our representation of the Bridge of Hylia, or Hyrule Bridge, or whatever it is. And it connects this landmass to our other landmass, where we have our giant monolith. So I think this turned out really good. I really wasn't sure going into this how it was all going to come together, but I mean, I really like it. Honestly, it's cool. It turned out good. So that's going to be it for this episode of Valhelsia. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I think I do plan on doing another 100 days in our Better Minecraft world. And those are a little bit of a different style and pace than this. So if you haven't seen that one yet, go ahead and check it out. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you want to see more. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.